The old Blackwood Manor stood on a hill. It was shrouded in mist. Locals whispered tales. They said it was haunted. No one dared to go near, not in years. The windows were like vacant eyes. They watched. They waited. Inside, a dusty mirror hung in the hall. It was an antique, ornate and silver. This was no ordinary mirror. It held a dark secret, a curse. The mirror reflected nothing, not until it had a victim. Then it would make them its own, forever. Lisa was a young woman, full of dreams and aspirations. She inherited the mansion from a distant relative. Little did she know, it held a dark history that would soon unfold.
I was excited, filled with hope and anticipation. This was my chance for a new start, a fresh beginning in a place that seemed full of potential.
Lisa arrived at the mansion as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the grounds. A shiver ran down her spine as she stood at the entrance, feeling an inexplicable sense of unease. She ignored the feeling and stepped inside, determined to make this place her own. The air was cold and heavy, filled with the scent of dust and decay. It was as if time had stood still. She walked down the long, dark hallway. Her footsteps echoed, amplifying the silence around her. She reached the end of the hallway where a strange object caught her eye. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. The mirror stood there, old and ornate, with a faint shimmer that seemed to beckon her closer. Lisa felt an irresistible pull towards it. She reached out, almost in a trance. Her fingers touched the cold, reflective surface, sending a chill through her body. What secrets did this mirror hold? Lisa's reflection appeared, but something was wrong. It wasn't her, not quite.
What is this?
This reflection was smiling, a cruel, sly smile. Lisa gasped. She pulled her hand back. The reflection remained. It reached out from the mirror. Its fingers were long and bony. Terror gripped Lisa. She stumbled back. She tripped and fell. She crawled away from the mirror. Her heart pounded in her chest, but it was too late. The reflection was free. It slithered out of the mirror. It stood before her, smiling.
The reflection lunged, its movement swift and menacing, as if it had been waiting for this moment for an eternity.
Lisa screamed, her voice echoing through the empty, dark room, a sound of pure terror that seemed to bounce off the walls and return to her.
It pressed its cold, clammy hand over her mouth, silencing her cries with an icy grip that sent shivers down her spine.
She struggled, her body thrashing against the invisible force, but she was no match for it, her strength waning with each passing second.
It forced itself upon her, merging with her essence, its dark presence seeping into her very soul.
Lisa felt a searing pain, a burning sensation that coursed through her veins. Then, numbness, as if her body was no longer her own. She looked in the mirror, her eyes searching for a trace of herself. Her reflection was back, but it was different, altered in a way she couldn't comprehend. Her eyes, they were filled with a cold, empty darkness, devoid of the warmth and life they once held.
The curse was spreading, its tendrils reaching out, taking over every part of her being, leaving nothing but a hollow shell.
Lisa was gone, her essence consumed by the mirror's creature. She was no longer herself, replaced by a sinister entity. She was trapped, her soul confined to the mirror's depths, just like the others before her, their faces etched in the glass. She was the face in the mirror now, waiting, watching for the next unsuspecting victim to fall prey to the spreading curse. A young man stopped by the mansion. He was lost. The night was dark and the air was thick with an eerie silence. The mansion loomed over him, its windows like eyes watching his every move. He had been driving for hours. The road seemed endless, and fatigue was setting in. His eyes were heavy, and he desperately needed a break. He just wanted to ask for directions. The GPS had failed him, and his phone had no signal. This mansion was his only hope. He had no idea what awaited him inside. The hallway was dimly lit, shadows dancing on the walls, creating an unsettling atmosphere.
He knocked on the door. He waited. Each second felt like an eternity, the silence around him growing heavier. He didn't know that inside, something was watching him, waiting for him. The figure moved silently, its eyes never leaving the young man.
The door creaked open. Lisa stood there. Her presence was both comforting and unsettling, a strange mix of warmth and coldness.
"Can I help you?" she asked. Her voice was sweet, inviting. Yet there was something off about her smile, something that made the young man uneasy.
The young man smiled. He didn't see the evil glint in her eyes. He was too focused on finding his way, too tired to notice the danger. He didn't realize he was already standing before his doom. The mansion had claimed many before him, and tonight it would claim another.